W-2. Every employer, by law, is required to give employees the W-2 at the end of the year. Or if you quit your job within 30 days of you quitting, they have to give you your W-2. Your W-2 basically just tells you how much money you've made total from the company. And then these two numbers is the taxable amount for your Social Security and your Medicare. So then there's a certain percent that they use for Social Security and Medicare, just like normal, and that's how much they took out of your paycheck. So that's your W-2, and that's what the employer has to send to the employee. And then we have the employer's quarterly federal tax return, and this is the top half, and this is what we're going to be filling out today. So our perspective today is going to be the employer filling this out to send off to the Social Security Administration. And then this is the bottom half, so we'll go through all this on the work together. Really, it's really simple because on the left side, all of the directions for every line is right here. So on number 2, the total wages, that's our number. So it tells you what every line is going to be. So that's what makes it kind of easy. This is the bottom half. So I guess that last one is the middle section. This is the bottom. Basically all that's left is the signature, we're the manager, and we send it off. And this is the W-3, which is the transmittal of wage and tax statements. And this is the total, it shows the total earnings that the employer has paid. So the total that Hy-Vee has paid Haley, Kelsey, Jordan, and Dakota. Total that all up, put it on the W-3. The total amount that we've took out of Haley, Kelsey, Jordan, and Dakota for Social Security, here it is. The total that we've taken out for Medicare from Haley, Kelsey, Jordan, Dakota, right here. So, open your book to the work together, 331. And all our information will come straight from page 382, I guess, in your book. Okay, so for the work together, 13.3, it says we're going to use form 941 for the employer's quarterly federal tax return. I will guide you through this example, and then the next one is going to be on your own. So in the book, it says our total earnings, and it lists all the numbers. The federal income tax lists all the numbers. Social Security, Medicare. Okay, in real life, you're not going to have a textbook that you just get to open up, and it's going to show you all the numbers. Like magic, we're going to give you all the numbers. So where do we get those numbers from, knowing that we're not going to have a textbook every day to pull these numbers from?
Payroll register.
The payroll register. Good, Tanya. Okay, so we're going to start filling out our quarterly federal tax return. So the name of the company, can somebody tell me what the name of the company is?
Audio Solutions.
Audio Solutions. Underneath all the numbers it says, you know, the name, the address, and all that, so that's easy to fill out, but can somebody read me the address?
65 Sandpiper Street. Ormond Beach.
Okay, so here's the city and state and zip code on the right side. And what is it?
Ormond.
Yeah.
32074-4060.
Awesome. What is the employer ID identification number. Nathan? And the work together. B.
707818356.
Okay. And then the date that the quarter ended is going to be the last day that we paid out. So if we look to the left, it says date paid. It says January 31st, February 28th, and March 31st. That's the date that the quarter ended. Yeah. This is for the IRS to use. We aren't the IRS, so we're not going to worry about it. So, yeah. I don't know, they get paid the big bucks to do all that, so. Whoops. Kind of glitchy. Alright, forget it. Okay. So then we're just going to start where it says number of employees in the pay period. So in the book it tells us how many employees that we have. 6. Alright, the next line, the total wages and tips, that is going to be it seems repetitive, but it's going to be the total of the total earnings. So in the book we have the column of total earnings. So I'll write total of total earnings. So what we're going to do is we're going to add up January 31st total earnings, February 28th, and March 31st. And what does somebody get for that? $33,800. Okay, line 3, it says the total income tax withheld. So in our book, where it says federal income tax, we're just going to total those 3 numbers. I'll put, just make a little note here. Total federal income tax. $2,366. Good. Line 4, it wants the adjustment of withheld income tax. We don't have any of that, so we can just write 0. And I think all throughout, even the applications, we won't have that. It'll be 0. So then on line 5, it wants the adjusted income from 3 adjusted by line 4. So what that means is that we're going to take line 3 and subtract 4. Yeah, so it's just going to be $2,366. Line 6, the taxable Social Security wages is just going to be our total earnings, our total wages. So it's just going to be, we're just going to pull that from line 2. So what is that? Yep, $33,800. This little extra slot is for your zeros, but we don't hardly ever have change. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take this amount and you're going to multiply it. So I like to put an X between it so we know that it's multiplication. So you're taking 33,800 times the Social Security amount, which is 12.4%. And what does somebody get when they multiply that? Yes, $4,191.20.
What's that?
$4,191.20. The next one is Social Security tips. We don't have any tips, so we just leave that at a 0, so we can go 0 all the way across. Do we have taxable Medicare wages? Yes. We pay out Medicare. So this is going to be line 2 also, because that's our taxable amount. So I put an X there just to know that I multiply that across and multiply my amount by my tax rate. And what does somebody get when they multiply that?
980.
Yep. $980.20. It's kind of nice because all the directions are right here, but sometimes the wording can get a little iffy. So then, we're ready for line 8. It says total Social Security and Medicare taxes. Add lines 6B, 6D, and 7B. So that's easy enough. It tells us what to do. So we're going to add 6B, 6D, 7B. What does somebody get for that? $5,171.40. And then number 9, line 9 is the adjustment of Social Security and Medicare taxes for sick pay, fraction of cents, or other. Did you read anything in the work together about sick pay, fraction of cents, anything like that?
No.
No, so it's zeros all the way across. My board's not. Line 10, adjusted total of Social Security and Medicare taxes. So it's line 8 as adjusted by line 9. So what that means is we're going to take line 8 minus line 9. Well, that's easy because the other one's 0. Yep. Number 11 says total taxes, add lines 5 and 10. So for number 11, it's just going to be 5 plus 10. What does somebody get when they add lines 5 and 10? Yeah. $7,537.40, right? Okay, we're ready for line 12. Advanced earned income credit. So does anything in the work together talk about an EIC? No, so that's just going to be a 0. And my board is not orientated correctly. My numbers are getting very squishy. It looks like gibberish. All right, now we're ready for 13, the net taxes. So subtract line 12 from line 11. So that's just going to be 11 minus 12. What do we get? $7,537.40. Good. Now maybe I can pull this down. Number 14, the total deposits for the quarter. It's just going to be what we get on line 13. So we're just going to carry that amount down. So the balance that we have due, we're going to subtract line 14 from line 13. So it's 13 minus 14. And you might make notes of where I'm getting all these things, because whenever you start to do it on your own, you'll be like, ah, I forgot. So what's 7,537 minus 7,560? 0. So we don't owe them anything. Okay, so it says on 16, if line 14 is more than line 13, which it's not, or just 0. Now this is where it can kind of get a little tricky. So it says monthly summary of federal tax liability. So for the first month, we're just going to add all together our tax liabilities. So we're going to add federal income tax, the employee pays in Social Security, but the employer also has to match that Social Security. So we have to add Social Security in twice, one for the employee and once for the employer. And then the employer also matches the Medicare, what the employee pays in for Medicare. So we have to add in the Medicare for the employee and the Medicare paid in by the employer. So for the first month, look in your book, for January 31st, we're just going to add those things that I just wrote down on the left. So it'll be 731 plus 647.28 plus 647.28, one's for the employee, one's for the employer, and then 151.38, one's for the employee, 151.38, one's for the employer. So what do we get when we add all that? Yes, $2,328.32. So you might make a note above that this is January 31st. So for the second month, what are we going to look at in our book? Which is February 28th. Good. Okay, can somebody add up the next liabilities for the second month?
Can you add all of those numbers twice?
Besides the federal income, because the employer doesn't match the federal income.
Okay.
And the 13,488 cents.
Okay, what did you add? Did you add the total earnings into that?
Oh, okay.
We just want the tax withheld amounts.
2,433.
Yep. Yep. For anybody that didn't hear, she said $2,443.88. Somebody want to add up the third month? What is the third month? March 31st. This is helpful for me, so I remember that I'm not adding up the same columns twice. Yep. $2,765.20. And then for column D, it says total the liability for the quarter. So what do you think we're going to do here? Add all those up. So we want A plus B plus C. Looks like algebra, all this A's and B's and all that.
7,537.
It is $7,537.40. Now the last thing we have to do, the best part, is sign our name. And then it says, asks us to print our name because some signatures we can't read. J.
Well,
And the title that we want. So I'll print Miss Newman. Somebody look in the book and what title do we hold? I didn't even print that. I didn't even follow directions.
It's the manager.
Manager. So for the date that we use at the bottom, it's going to tell you what to date it. So somebody tell me what date we're using, Alexis?